This is Chiming In with Elyse and David.
So we're trying to exist in between the black hole of the holidays and of the new year. And every other thing on my social media is making a joke about how is it December 39th already?
I know, it's crazy. I don't know how the year just flies by like this. It's nuts.
The year may have flown by, but what about this in between these major holidays that so many of us, especially with families and school, have off for 2 whole weeks.
Right.
And even if you're working I'm like craving to work. Please make me work. I mean,
I think I forgot how to work.
it's insane. So yeah, I mean, not everybody's in that situation, obviously. So there's that, but it's still this sort of like, what day is it? What is happening? One of my favorite memes I posted years ago has 3 stick figures. The first has a like holiday hat on. It says 1st through the 26th of December, festive. The second one is not smiling, kind of has a sideways mouth, and it says December 27th through the 31st, confused, full of cheese, unsure of the day of the week. And it's holding like a little yellow thing. And then the last one is not a stick because it's a round person, right? And it says January, etc., just fat.
That's so funny.
Right. So we have like our brain not really functioning and our body not necessarily doing what we would maybe like to be doing.
You know, picking off what you just said, not doing what we want to be doing, I find at this time when I don't have a lot to do and I can do anything I want is exactly when I don't do anything.
Exactly. It's like approaching a blank slate, like a blank canvas, and you're
Right.
like, and nothing.
That's right. All the fun things I want to do when I'm so busy and I don't have time to do, I have time to do it now, but I'm not doing it.
Right. So that, you know what I always say, my motto is the more you do, the more you do.
It's true.
And the less you do, the less you do. And I always have told you this, right? And it's like a fill in the blank on what that is. Put in, so you prove me wrong. I've asked a million people, prove me wrong. The more you do something, the more you do it.
I do notice that when you work out all the time, you work out more. And when you sit around and don't do anything, you sit around more. Like, it's exactly right.
Right. Exactly. Like, please somebody find something wrong with that statement.
Right.
I think it's an axiom. It's a truth. I don't know why we like forget it and don't see all this blob feeling coming. But I think it's probably par for the course. Like, I think it's probably something we are just innately as humans supposed to be going through. This time of year, we talked about that with like the shorter days and the darkness, and we've talked about the moon cycles, and we've talked about, did I even mention the year of the snake and the horse? Did I mention that? Yeah, so like the shedding of what's behind us, kind of letting things go and moving forward, turning towards this next cycle is this forward motion, and a lot of things are going to be coming our way as we ride into the new year, right?
Yeah, that's perfect lead into New Year's resolutions.
You have some?
I try not to do New Year's resolutions. I don't want to be disappointed. Much like my list that I talk about putting things on the list, I make my resolutions about things I already do, so I can already check them off.
All right, fair, I guess. I don't know what I think about that. What would be on your list? Your non-list.
I feel like resolutions should be about doing something or not doing something that you're doing that's bad for you. That's kind of what I always think of a resolution.
As opposed to what?
Well, our daughter talked to us the other day about her and her friends sitting around making New Year's resolutions, and they made it about a bucket list. They're like, oh, this year I'm going to take a trip to Europe or something like that. And I'm like, that's not a resolution. That's a bucket list.
So you want it to be something that you want to improve.
Right. There has to be some improvement part of it.
Right. I do think of it that way too, more like a reset.
Right.
Like our son, Avi, 18, he's probably never listening to this, so we can
So
say
go ahead and
whatever
talk
we
about it.
want.
No problem.
No, I'm just kidding. But, we've been kind of butting heads a lot lately, would be, and the way he talks is very frenetic when he's talking to me. He's like very agitated. And so I inadvertently, is that the right word? I start
Yeah,
talking the same
you
way
match
back.
it.
Yeah. And I see that in other people. I see that in you when you sort of match their aggression or match their energy. I'm like, don't do it. Don't go there. Try to stay in your lane and they'll calm down and they'll match your energy. And then here I am like, whatever. And we're just like butting heads. And it occurred to me that would be a good resolution is for me not to even say not to butt heads, because that's then epic fail like tomorrow, but not to say that, but to work on me. So I think that's the big thing for me as a resolution would be, what can I do to improve me? Not, not him, not us, whatever. But in this case, I need to work on staying in my lane and staying my calm self. In fact, when I kind of pointed that out to him, that I was, I'm trying to get my words out because you're talking over me, and the way you are so, kind of energetic in your agitated ways, I'm matching it, and this isn't who I am, and I'm like screaming at him, and he all of a sudden like Do you saw him? He like melted into the doorway, and he like
leaned into
acted
the
like he was
doorway,
calm.
yeah.
He's like, "Huh? I'm not doing anything like that."
So he did exactly what you wanted to do, right?
Well, what I normally am, because honestly, it was tough because he was like, why are you freaking out? And I
Right.
told him, look, this isn't freaking out. Do you want to see? I told him, I said, when you say that, all it makes me do is want to actually show you what a freaking out mom looks like.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody needs to ever see her. So but that's what it makes me feel. Like, you think this is freaking out? You must be out of your mind. So when I started to point it all out to him in the middle of that agitated conflict, it was very funny because when I said I'm kind of matching your energy, is this really how I normally act? And it's my fault, of course. This is my resolution that we're about to talk about, but he totally melted. Like, his whole energy, his whole body kind of like leaned back.
And
That was awesome.
It was very funny. You pointed out to him, and you start leaning against the wall.
I was like,
as well.
what are you doing? That is not your normal hello. It was
funny.
hilarious.
So how are you going to do this? Like, how does it look to have a type of resolution like you're going to calm down and not match other people when they're frenetic? Like,
Yeah.
this is the problem, I think, with these New Year's resolutions, is that you obviously do it a certain way for a reason, and then all of a sudden now magically January 1st comes along and you're not going to do that anymore. Like, how do you remind yourself?
I don't think it's a magic. I think we're just leaning on it. I think we're just leaning on the calendar turn because that we can. I mean, we need these little sort of deadlines or milestone mile markers. We need those in our life, or else it's just this big black hole, like December 38th. It's not. We need that. We need something to ground us. So I think that's always been a part of our human nature.
When it comes to New Year's resolutions, I forget the resolution, and therefore it is not effective at all.
That sounds about right.
I feel like I need to be reminded. I need to walk around with sticky notes all over my body.
I told you to do that. I told you.
that would help.
You know what? That is a very important thing to talk about, actually. You do have to remember what your goal is, or what motivates you, or what your thoughts and dreams are. How else are you supposed to actually achieve them?
Well, what do you think I should do about what do you think I should do for a New Year's resolution? What do you think I should work on?
That's something that you have to come up with on your own.
But
That's a lot of work.
You're observing me all the time. You could probably see
it's
some things.
not my circus. That's all you, babe. You got to come up with your own thing.
Okay. All right.
So, like, I have goals, and you're right. Like, our goals, the same as a resolution, I'm dreaming of this place. Like you said, is that you can make it however you want. You don't have to have it be judged.
There's no rules.
Are there rules? You don't even want to participate. You don't have to.
Well, I do like to participate, and I think it's a really good idea. I don't think it's very effective for me for some reason.
Well, you just came up with the reason. It's you forget whatever it was, so
Yeah.
you have to write it down.
I need like a routine, right? So like going to
Just
the
like
gym.
one.
That's why I have a trainer, because I can't work out without somebody telling me and knowing I'm going at a certain day and getting it done. I need that type of stability in my life. So I recognize that about myself. I think that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And your resolution is?
To work out more?
Is it?
No, I think I work out pretty well. We walk pretty much every day when it's warm.
Except in the past 45 days of December.
Well, it's been terrible 2 weeks of track record of walking. It's just been terrible.
Did I mention the word blob?
Yeah.
I'm a blob.
Do you feel like a blob?
Yeah, just blobbing out over here, mentally and physically. But I do think that, truthfully, all of us can, whether we can remember it or not, we actually need to be reminded. So I do think sticky notes, sticky notes honestly is a great idea. I would like to tweak it a little, though, and maybe it's not just a sticky note to say work out or whatever your resolution is. But what if it was a reminder to have an affirmation? Because I believe that we are not, being kind enough to ourselves. So you're worried about almost setting yourself up for failure. But what if you turned it around, the famous quote, what if you couldn't fail? So what if your resolution was less about the output and more about the input? So how you speak to yourself then can inform how you want to show up. So words of affirmation can go maybe really far. Maybe that would be something to put on sticky notes wherever you want. Put it on your bathroom mirror, put it on your car dashboard.
Can you give an example of an affirmation?
Well, affirmations are just what they sound like, positive statements that can help to overcome a challenge, or we have a tendency to have negative self-talk and self-sabotage. In other words, every day I take a shower and I shave and I do all the things one does in the shower. And don't send me all the emails.
Do you soap up before you get in the shower?
Stop. I was just going to say, don't send me all the notes that say you don't shave. It's fine. To each her own. I noticed that as I'm shaving my legs, I was looking at them and criticizing every part of me, just as an example. And just kind of analyzing and working, up my leg basically, and not being particularly kind. And when I started to learn some of this work, I turned the whole idea around. And I still, to this day, when I pick up the razor and start the process, if I hear something negative, I have the ability now to hear it and close it down. And not only that, I turn it around and I shower literally and figuratively myself with gratitude. I'm grateful in this case for my body. I'm grateful for my legs. I'm grateful for what they gave me in the past. If they don't look the same as they used to, I'm grateful for my children, or whatever the reason is why, so on. So I have a way of affirming I'm okay. And the love that goes into my being at that point is the affirmation. Okay. So my question to you is, do you think that would be something you could do as sort of a resolution, is to just sort of change your story? It's just an idea. What if you change your wording? Do you spend time noticing that you have negative self-talk, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be about your body. I think that one of the reasons that you're sort of anti-resolution, and we have talked about this a little bit off air, but I think that the what I'm getting from you, Dave, is that you don't like the idea of a resolution because it means that you have to correct something. And you don't like to have anything like that to work on. That makes you feel udgy. That is an uncomfortable place for you to be. So if you're going to declare, I want to change something, you have to be really digging deep and going into your heart and soul and saying, I could improve this. But I think it gives you a little bit of, agita.
For me, I hold a lot of attachment to the feeling of something being wrong when I need to fix something with a New Year's resolution. So it automatically for me feels like a negative when I have to fix something. So I probably don't want to admit that. Right? It's really hard.
I guess that's why, especially for you today, it occurred to me, what if it was more of an affirmation? I think that's why that whole idea came to me. Like, what if you're just being kind to yourself and loving yourself? And is that hard? And can that be a new suggestion? So not to say, oh, you're lacking something and need to do something more, but you have everything you already need for today. And in essence, I love myself. Good job, David. Like, can that type of talk be a resolution?
I think that could be helpful. I don't think I do that enough. I feel like I probably don't do that very much at all. And absolutely, that could be my resolution.
So I have a thing. I mean, it's very private, I guess, but not anymore. I have a new-ish thing I do before I go to bed. Maybe the past couple of years. I guess that's not new. Sorry. And that is that I truly take a few minutes as I'm heading into sleep to thank myself. And I realize that those words sound a little weird, maybe a negative tone of selfishness in some way, but I really want to impress upon everyone I know to stop and consider, if you don't feel that way towards yourself, how does that relate to the rest of the world? And I do take a minute to thank myself and love myself. And I have to say, when I notice that I'm speaking a little negatively, I hear it now, and I clamp down on it, and I flip it around, like I said earlier, and I say, no, this body, these legs, whatever it is, or if that's physical, but if it's something, I would like to. I just give myself, you're doing the best you can with what you are today, and you don't have to know anything beyond that. And it's very peaceful, and it's very important, because if we can't stop and love ourselves, then what are we doing? Why are we waiting for that out? The external validation, right? That's a whole nother talk we'll talk about. But why are we? So we don't have to. Don't wait. So maybe that's your resolution. That way you're not saying to yourself, I'm lacking, or I'm not doing as good of a job as I want to. Personally, for me, I come from I'm a dancer mind. So everything deserves improvement. There is no end to that, right? It's very difficult. I'm a writer. So we're editing and editing and editing ad nauseum. So it is just part of my psyche and my being to not. Improvement doesn't equal anything negative. It's a necessity to go forward. So we do differ in that way. It sounds like. Do you feel like that's different?
Yeah, I hadn't really thought of it that way, but it's absolutely true. Your art is constant revision. And when I hear your writing, when you read it to me and you make changes to it, it's not a negative or a positive. It's just the process that you're doing. So absolutely, absolutely, I totally agree with what you're saying, and I think that
And but
that's
does it?
something I could include in my life as well.
Well, yeah. What is that? How would that look? Why? I guess if you can see it in me as sort of like an obvious, it just is. Not it's not attached to a positive or negative anything. How does it filter in through your lens as something negative, and can you make that your new year's thought?
I definitely can, and I totally understand how it relates when we're talking about your art and how it is that that is a process. For me, I still think I get stuck sometimes on the fact that the result of whatever I did was needs to be adjusted or changed. So therefore, that conclusion, whatever I did, could have been done differently, and therefore that's a mistake. That's a bad thing. It's not a
Why is
process. It's a result.
sorry, why is a mistake a bad thing?
Well, it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just if it were a good thing, you wouldn't want to redo it a different way, right? I mean, that's what a resolution is. Is
No,
I'm going to
no.
do something differently because I want a different result.
No, you just said the word mistake and you're suggesting it's negative, so I'm just rolling with it and saying why is the mistake a negative?
Maybe I used the wrong word. Maybe mistake isn't the right word. Maybe it's whatever the result was, whatever that is. It's not a negative or a positive. It's just that we want to change it to something else. And if that change needs to happen, then that admits that there was a problem in the first place. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Does that make sense?
It's just not how I look at things.
Hmm.
So it's so interesting. I don't think of it as an issue at all. I I I don't see the first round as an issue, as a negative, as a
Hmm.
mistake. If you don't put yourself forward, into motion of whatever you're working on or you're dreaming of, then what do you have?
Well, I'll give you an example. We talked about working out, right, as a New Year's resolution. So if in the past year I have not worked out at all, and therefore I'm getting heavier and I don't have as much stamina and my body is not working as well, that is a negative feeling that I have gained weight or whatever. Now I'm going to change that by doing a new activity that's going to give me a positive feeling. And it's going to make me feel better and I'm going to be thinner and all that. So the change, the resolution is to fix a problem. Do you see what I'm talking about when I say resolution in that way? It's that.
Okay, so then my affirmation concept applies here, where you say, I did the best I can with what I had those days, and I could wish all day for it to look different, but it didn't. So I'm going to look to today and move forward to tomorrow. And
I love that. I think that that's
so you don't
affirmation
have
can
to
flip
have
it around. Yeah.
regret, right? To have an idea of how you can reset. That's all of this is a little bit of a reset. It's not even real. It's not a real reset. It's just kind of like an
Right.
metaphor.
At least for the first couple of days of the year, and then you forget about it.
Sticky notes.
Maybe we should get some chiming in sticky notes for
I
people.
100% want to do that. I actually am investigating merch because I want that logo on like the back of a hoodie.
That's a
And sticky
great
notes would be
idea.
great too.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm going to hold myself accountable to something right now. I haven't told you this yet, but I woke up this morning with a new idea because
Every
Elyse,
day. Good ideas.
just Elyse. It's like, yeah. And my idea is going to be a little, I don't even know how to do this yet. So it's going to be a little, I don't even know what the right word is.
Challenging.
Challenging. Thank you, to say the least. And that is, I would like to spend the month of January with doing some social media, like reels or whatever they're called, little videos where I talk and offer affirmation and maybe a little exercise or a little thought for the day, like every day starting January 1st. And I kind of woke up
wow.
with that thought. So I don't know, kind of join me on my daily whatever, my daily
Journey.
thought, my daily journey. Thank you.
Right.
I can't talk anymore for some reason.
I'm here to help you.
The brain is in, this is what happens in this black hole, December 38th. I'm telling you.
You lose language.
I have nothing. I have cheese brain and I have nothing.
That's it.
I have killed all the brain cells.
That's right.
But anyway, do you think that would be a good idea?
I think it's a great idea, and I'm happy to help you.
Okay, you could be the videographer.
I'll do it.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to have to do it. So
I'm
you guys
gonna
bear
help
with
you.
me, and hopefully I don't see why I couldn't figure it out. So anyway, happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, everybody.
I can't believe it's 2026 almost. And we are so appreciative that we have you listeners, we have our dear friends, and maybe even a few other friends, more than 5.
Podlings.
Thank you. And as always, you can email chimingin911@gmail.com or find us on social media and look for those reels.
That's
I'm going
right.
to just hold myself to it and give me feedback or likes or whatever, hearts and stuff. Otherwise, nobody sees them.
That's right. And also, we'll see you next year.